this lecture, we will learn a little bit more about how to create wonderful UIs, how to manipulate the colors, styles, and themes, and how to do XML drawables. So let's start by defining some colors and making our existing application more colorful. Just to begin with, that's how currently our application looks like. So as you will see that there are really no colors. Let me rotate it in the right way. So it is all very much grayish, white, black. So now let's add few colors and make it look good. And also we will be defining our styles and themes. So let's get started with the code. So the first thing we are going to do is to go into the rest folder. In the rest folder we will go into the values and enter the values. We have colors.xml. So we are going in the rest folder, values, colors.xml, and here you can see that three colors have been already defined as primary dark color, accent. Now we are gonna define some more colors. So let's just copy any of the description and make this. First color we're gonna define is the red color, red, and the right code is F44336. Then we gonna define four more colors. I will just copy this as four more times. So the second is dark red, and for this the code is C3352B, and this is dark red. And then the third color is gray, for which the code is 607D8B, and then the color is soothing blue, for which the code is 0083BF, and then we have a dark blue, for which the code is 005A8A. So we have defined some new colors, and now we need to define a new style which we will use in creating our buttons. So like I said earlier, a style is a set of attributes that you can apply to a widget. So let's create a new style. So now I'm going to the file styles.xml in the same directory. Currently the default style is defined. We are going to style a new style. We are going to define a new style. So let's just copy the basic. So control V, style name equal to beat grid button. So that's our style name. And in that we will be defining an item name equal to Android background at color And let's say we want a dark blue background. So we have already defined the dark blue color, and now we are saying that the background of our beat grid button should be a dark blue background. That's all we are saying. So we are just defining a very single attribute. Now how to use this style? Well, we will go to the layout files, and there we will use our style. So this was the button file, and all we have to add is a single line here where we are saying, you know what, instead of default style, you should now use our style slash beat grid button. So the moment I do it, I should be able to see a change. Yes, so now you see that we have a colored background. So all my color now have a dark blue background. But you know what? Now I can't distinguish between my buttons anymore. So we will have to work a little bit more in order to make it better. Now we have used our self-created style here, and a little bit more on style. So style can also be inherited. So style support inheritance. So that is, it can inherit from another style and it can override attributes from some other style. So now let's go back to our styles.xml and let's create a new style which is the inherited from the previous style. So in order to do that, all we have to do is give the new style beat grid button and do a dot, which means we want to inherit it from the beat grid button, and let's call it strong. So now this is the this is a new style, and in this style we will say, you know, that the text style should be bold. So that's it, nothing much, but we are just saying that from the previous we were describing the background. If we use the strong, then the text style should also be bold. So Android text style bold item. So now I have created a new style. Currently my app looks like this. The text is not bold. Let me use the new style dot strong. If I run it, then hopefully I should see a change. Yes, so now you see that the text is bold. So while the background remains blue because that is what is inherited. So that's nice. There is another way of inheriting a style in which instead of writing this, I could have simply written a name. Let's say a name like strong beat grid button. So now strong beat grid button currently has no relation with the beat grid button. So then I need to tell, hey, it has a parent, and the parent is none other than the style beat grid button. Now this would have had the same effect, but the first style is more concrete. So let's stick with that. So I'm just changing it to that strong, and I remove this. So yeah, so this is fine. Now this is fine. So this looks all very good, and this gives you a very brief introduction to style, that you can create the styles, you can change the attributes, and then you can go into the layout and you can use the style that you have just created. Now let us talk a little bit about themes. So the style is nice. It lets you define a set of attributes in one place and you can apply it to many widgets. The problem or the downside of the style is that you will have to apply it to each and every widget. So if I had, for example, apart from a button, some other widget, then I would have to write the same statement of applying style to that widget as well. Now, what if you have a very complex application? In that case, applying a style like this is tedious and also a boring task. Moreover, if you want to change your style, then you will have to change it at all the other places. So this is the part where the themes come in, because the theme take the style a step further. So the theme lets you define a set of attributes in one place like a style, but then these attributes are automatically applied throughout your app. So that's the difference between theme and style. A theme is automatically applied throughout the app, while a style is applied to the widget to which you add the style to. Now, so suppose I just want to make sure that all the buttons in my app look same. So then I can possibly use a theme, and similar things. So the theme are applied at the app level, while while the styles are applied at the widget level. So let's go and do some work in the theme. So let's learn more about themes and do some work in the themes. So yes, so we again go to the uh, so this is our style file, and let's now go to the manifest to see that what we already have. So if you go to the manifest, then you will see that in the manifest there is a line called Android colon theme equal to add style slash app theme. Now the theme attribute is here is pointing to a theme called app theme, and the app theme is the theme described here in the styles.xml. So that's what it is pointing out to. And what that theme is saying, that theme is saying there is a primary color, there is a primary dark color, there is a color accent, and the parent is the theme.appcompat.light.dark action bar, which is the default theme for all the applications. So first thing, it tells you that a theme is also a style, but themes specify different attributes than a style does, and themes are also given superpowers by being declared in the manifest, and that's why they are applied across the app automatically. Okay, so now let's look at this theme very closely. So see, this is the main line, which is you will find same in all the Android app that you are creating. So this theme is inheriting from this parent theme, and the parent theme is a dark theme, which gives you a light theme with a dark control toolbar. Okay, so there could be different possibilities here. For example, I can type a dot, and you can see that there are different possibilities. So the default theme of Android is dot light, which defines a light theme, and then dot dark action bar. So basically what it says that it is a light theme with a dark action bar. Now let's change to a dark theme. So if we want to change it to dark theme, we remove this, and once we remove it, and then if we run, then let's see what happens. Oh, so you see that first that earlier the text was black, now it is white. So it has kind of reversed than what it used to be earlier. So this is the change, and now let's do some more work. First, that let's go back to what we originally had, and then let's change these colors which are defined here. So let's change these colors. So instead of color primary, I will just give it red. Primary dark, I will give it our red dark, and color accent. Oh, so we had defined it as dark red, and color accent we will just give it the gray that we have defined. So now let's apply this, check what happens. So some changes, the bar has changed, for example. So yeah, so let's keep playing with it and see how we can do different things. So we stop our app. Okay, so now we have seen defining three attributes of a theme and understanding their effect. Now suppose if I want to change the background, what will I have to do? So number one, that I can change the background by changing like previously and then going to every single file and changing it there. Or what if I want to change it in the theme so that it is applied everywhere? Now these are kind of questions which you may encounter, and there is really no easy straightforward answers to it. One strategy is to just check what attribute sounds right, put it and see its effect. And as you can see that this is fairly easy to even revert even if you make a mistake. So that is not something which is going to break your application. So let's try some more things, and let's try to make some more changes. And over the time of Android programming, you will learn enough about themes and styles and how to use it. And you can go more detail into themes and styles by reading documentation, by seeing other examples, maybe have an application which provides a very good theme and styles, and look at the code here, look at what attributes they are modifying. So let's continue with our work and see that how much we can change. So let's first remove it again, run our program so that we remember how it looked like. So we can see a red, a dark red, a blue background, and white bold text. Now I stop the execution and I do a control click. I press my control and I click on theme.appcompat because I want to see that what is in the theme.appcompat, what attributes are defined here. And this is a very large files. This is a very large files with many things defined here. Okay, so now let us see that what we can do here. So let's go further, because this one is, so this one starts here and this one declares. There are a lot of declarations, a lot of dimensions, and I want to go to this part. I want to check for a particular name, theme dot app compat, and as we see that its base theme is defined here. So its base theme is defined here. So that's the parent theme of this base theme, and this is, so we can possibly click here as well, then it opens and then it's base theme. So you can see that how we can navigate. So let's come back. So let's go to the base theme app compat, and now you see that there are multiple different declarations. So this is happening because I am pressing down my control button and I'm clicking on this. So now here I see different values, and let's say let's choose a value, maybe any of these. So let's say 22, or maybe something else. But if I say 22, then it goes to the and opens that one. So we can choose different versions, and in this, as you can see, that we can go to something like base v22 theme dot app compat, and then its parent is defined, which is base v21, and then it keeps going up, and eventually if we go base 21, then it does base v7. Now let's click on this, and this one is not giving anything else but some fields, base v7 theme dot app compat. Now this has many attributes, this one also has many attributes. Now let's go to the its parent. So once I control click this, I again have multiple options. So let me choose an older one, value v11, because we know that they are inheriting from the older one. So I come to the older one, and let's see that what is in here. So let me choose, and if you see here, then you see this line, android.theme.holo. Now the holo theme, so finally we end up into a parent, which is a parent where we may find the attributes which are of use to us. And this android.holo theme is not referenced just as theme.holo. Instead, it has the Android namespace in front of it, because this theme has been described in the Android OS. So the app compat which we were using, our app compat, actually is using something like android.theme.holo, which is described in the Android OS. And let me go to this. Fine. So here, for example, we are finding something like color background at color background holo dark. Now this gives us a hint that if we change this color background, maybe the background in all parts of our app will get changed. So that is something which you will have to do if you want to change some fundamental things in styles and themes. You keep going back, try to find out the right attribute. Now color background looks like the right attribute to me if I want to manipulate the background. So what I would do is that I will override this color background attribute in my XML. Okay, so let's copy this. Let's copy the whole item, and let's go back to our original one. So I am just closing everything, close all, and I'm going to our original one. And here what I am doing is that after this I'm just putting it. So I'm making two changes. I change it to the our color, and I just make sure that I use the correct namespace as it was originally given, and then I run the program. So I run it, and yeah, so anything change? Yes, we did get a background which is of soothing blue. So here if I come down, then I am not seeing the gray anymore. I am seeing the blue which we just set. So that's how we try to find out what's the right attribute. So we keep going back. So it's like, we keep going back. We keep going back, and then when we see that there is a right attribute, we just try it. So we just to repeat the procedure. So we went to the theme app compat, then we went to the base theme app compat in which I chose 21. Then we went to this, then we went to this, then we went to platform.app compat. I chose 11. Then we went to here, we could see Android theme hollow. We went to this, and in that we could actually found the color background, and because it was defined as Android theme hollow, so we have to make sure that we are giving the right namespace, which is what we gave when we use that variable. So similarly, whenever you want to do some work in the themes, feel free to go navigate, change, and then see how does it look like. Now let us do some things more in the buttons. So we just created a little bit of difference in the button as they were drawn in originally, and then we did it. Now let's do a little bit more. So first let's go to the button, and maybe we can just remove what we added. Okay, and now we can run our application and see that what we were adding. So yeah, so now our buttons are gray, our background is soothing blue. So actually it is looking very nice. So it's looking very nice. It's looking very nice. But we are not satisfied and we will be doing more. So let's go back to where we were, that is in the styles.xml, and we will go all the way back to theme hollow. Now in that, let's find out what does it have for buttons. So this is searching everywhere. I don't want to search everywhere. I just want to search in this file, and yeah, so here is a item name color button normal, the more button. So here is something called a button style, which says that at style slash widget dot hollow dot button. Now this attribute is named as button style. So this is the style of any normal button within your app, and this button style attributes point to a style resource. This is a style resource rather than a value. So when we updated our color background attribute, we passed in a value. In this case, the button style should point to a style. So let's navigate to this style again by clicking, and then see what the style is. So it shows the background, the text appearance, the text color, the min height and min width of a typical button in our app. So all our app will have these attributes. Okay, now what happens in the Android's own theme, let's try to do it in our application. So we will change the parent of some of our things, some of our styles, and then we'll see that what we can do. So let's come back to our own, and we had this nice beat grid button, and we should now change the parent of it, and so that it can inherit from the existing button style. So we remove, and we just add parent equal to Android style slash widget dot hollow dot button. Yeah, so now we are inheriting our style from the parent. So we have given the parent as the default Android style. So now we can do some more work into our button and see that how does that impact our application. So first few steps, let's add something here in the theme, so that all my buttons in my app look same. Yeah, so now all my button will use this style, and in this style we'll do the manipulation so that everything looks same. And let's just run our application to see how does it look now. So now you can see that we are back with our dark blue color, and this has changed a little bit. Go down, we can see our soothing blue background with our dark blue color. So in this lecture you were learning about styles, themes, how to inherit styles, how to add attributes into themes, and as you can see that there is really no limit. You can do whatever you want, and the learnings are fairly simple. You can just go back and look how it has been implemented, and then you can make some changes and see how does that change impact your application. So for example, now I can go and I can change some more things. So that is it, and now we will go in some more UI work but using XML. So thank you. Hello. In the last video we learned about how to use styles and themes to give a different UI than what is available by default in Android. These learnings are only a hint of what you can do. You will have to experiment yourself to learn more. The best way is to try something, run your program and see how does it affect. Now we move on and we will try to do the UI with XML. So we will be working now exclusively with the XML, and which is something which is called XML Drawables, and we will try to change the UI further. So let's start with our program and try to see what else we can do in terms of UI. So yes, let's go back to our program. First we will execute it to understand how does it look currently, so that we can compare it at the end of the lecture to find out how does it look after we have made the changes that we want. So currently this is how it looks. Our background is the smoothie blue, and then the soothing blue, and all the buttons, they work, they play a sound. Okay, so you can press a button and it will play a sound. So everything is working. We just want to have some more effect, some better UI when someone is interacting with it. So let's get started, and the first file that we will start is our layout file, which was the layout for a simple button. So we are now going to add a lot more code so that we can be sure that all our buttons are uniform. So yeah, so let's do some coding. We go out and we first that we give a frame layout, and in that we add some standard code. We can remove it from here, and we do Android layout width wrap content, Android layout height wrap content, and Android layout margin of, let's say, 8 dp. So all these values are for your choice depending on your device. Okay, and then we go into the button and we close uh, and we simply close the frame layout that we were doing. So let me put it here, and yeah, Control X, Control V. Yes, so now let's look at the design. Okay, so now the design is slightly different than what we had earlier, but this is the design which is for our button now. So if we execute the program, do we see any difference? So let's execute the program, and yeah, well, it is coming. And as you can see that because we have done the wrap content, now we can see the boundaries very clearly, but some buttons are bigger, some buttons are smaller, and it is actually not looking as good as it was looking earlier. So let's try to do some more coding and see how does it impact. So number one thing is to also add some code in the button. So ID remains the same because that's how we are referring to it. Layout width and height, let's change, let's make them constant. So I will choose 100, and I'll choose 100 here as well, and then I will also define the gravity because I want everything to look same. Gravity equal to center. Now let's just execute it again. And yeah, now they look like standard buttons, which is good. Now let's do some more things. We would like to make these buttons round, and this is done with something called shape drawable. So let's use it to make the buttons round. So for this we will have to go into the drawable folder of our our resource file, and in that drawable folder we will have to define another XML. So I go to new and I do a drawable resource file. So let me just call it button underscore beat underscore grid underscore, or maybe a box underscore normal, and I do okay. I got some code which I change. So I remove everything that I'm receiving here, maybe not this. So because I didn't choose the, because I did not pay attention while I was selecting the root element, so I will have to now fix it myself. So I do it as shape, and this is fine, but I would like to use a shape which is Android shape, which is oval, and then I would say that this is solid Android color, and we use the dark blue color for this, and then we end the solid. Now this code here creates an oval shaped drawable that is filled in with a dark blue color. Now we can do some additional customizations, but let's first go and use what we have just created. So what we will do is we will go back to our style. We will go back to our style, which was this, and we will use this one. So instead of the simple background that we did earlier, which was just a color dark blue, we would like to do what we had just recently done. So I remove this and I say add drawable button box normal. Yes, and now let's first just run our program to see what difference does it bring. So when I run the program, wow, they definitely look more interesting than earlier. In fact, these are very nice circles. So they look good, and now we will see that when we are pressing, the sound is there, but nothing is visible. So nothing is visible. So that is, the button is not really changing anything. It is just doesn't look different. So it doesn't give the visual impression that it has been pressed. So let us fix it. So we would like to have to do is that just like we are currently using a drawable to non-pressed state, we will have to define a new shape drawable for the pressed state, and then do some coding to make sure that when we see a drawable when it is pressed and another drawable when it is not pressed. So let's do the another drawable again in the drawable. So we go and we do new drawable resource file, and this time this is fine, so it is main, and okay, so we give the file name as button underscore beat underscore box underscore pressed, and this is okay. We could have simply created an empty XML, but that's okay. So again we will have to do a new shape, and this time also our shape remains the same, which is oval. However, when we add the attribute solid, this time we will be using the color as dark red. So what we are trying to do is that when our button is pressed, it becomes dark red. And as you see that Android Studio really helps you with programming, because you can see a dark red color square here, which is giving you a very clear hint that what kind of color your button will take when it is pressed. So this is a really nice thing, and I'm just tempted to run it one more time before I go further, but it will not work because we are so far not making use of this. So let's hold on and we will press the execute button slightly later. Now, in order to make these two different drawables, we will make use of what is called something like a stateless drawable. Okay, so a stateless drawable is a drawable that points to other drawables based on the state of something, and that's what we need. So, in our case, the states are pressed and non-pressed. So, when it is a pressed, then there must be a different drawable, and when there is unpressed, then it is a different drawable. So we will use a stateless drawable to specify one drawable as the background when pressed and another when it is not pressed. So let's define a stateless drawable in our program. So again we go to the drawable folder. Let me just show it very quickly. What do we mean? So the drawable folder is here. In the rest there is a drawable folder. We have already put the two XMLs and now we are doing more modifications. So I go and I just create a simple file again, layout XML file, and I do, well, I will just create a drawable source file and I will give it a name which refers to it when it is neither pressed nor unpressed. So let's say okay, and this is a selector. So by default it was always a select a stateless drawable that it was trying to make. We were just not making use of it. And now inside this I will describe two items. One is that Android drawable equal to drawable beatbox pressed, Android state pressed equal to true, and item Android drawable equal to Android add drawable beatbox normal otherwise. So as you see that Android helps me by having an attribute known as state pressed. So I have to only say that when it is pressed, when the pressed is true, use the drawable pressed, otherwise use the drawable normal. Now we will have to again go into the button style and use this new state drawable. So the button style was defined into our styles.xml, where we were just earlier we were just using this drawable button beatbox normal, but now we have to use the new one which is fine, which is just called beatbox. So now we are using a selector, a stateless drawable, and that stateless drawable uh, will decide on what drawable should be used. So now our code seems complete, and let's run it to see that how does it impact. So okay, I press and then I am ready to see it. So when I press, it becomes red and then becomes blue again. I am now currently keeping the press, so yeah, and then it becomes red. So that's really nice. So now it looks good. So basically, I can press and release, and I can get a very nice visual impression of when I press the button. So this was very good, and you also learned that how to use stateless drawable. Now let us do something more advanced, which is called a layerless drawables. So the layerless drawables allows us to combine two XML drawables into one, and using this we will do some wonderful GUI. Basically, we would like to put a ring around our button when it is in the pressed state. So let's go back to our drawable folder, and we should go back to our pressed, which is currently very simple, but let's just make some changes into it so that we can put a dark ring around it. So yeah, so let's start writing some code here. And our code says, so our code starts with the layer list. Instead of shape, I take it out, put it here, and I say, I'll just get this code, put it here, and then I define my first item, and my first item is sort of already there. My first item is nothing but shape, Android shape, solid, color red, and that is fine. Now I would like to define my second item as well, which is the ring that I want to put. So my second item would be a shape, and Droid shape equal to oval and stroke Android width. So the width of our ring 40p maybe, and then and droid color equal to color dark red. Yeah, so okay, so let's make it red so that we can see the dark red ring more clearly. Now you can see that through the layer list what we have done is that we have defined two drawables to be drawn at the same time. Now this is kind of a layer list. So the first is the circle and the second is the ring around it. So this is a stroke that we are adding. Okay, and this stroke width is only of the 4dp. Now let's run it again. So let's run it again. There's an error in the, oh, so we have not closed the item. So let's just copy it, paste. Shape slash item slash item. So it's still giving me an error. Let me check. Unexpected token. Okay, so we are missing this. Okay, fine. So now we are fine. Let's run it. So I'm really excited to see what happens. We have learned some really good UI tricks in a very short time here. So let us run it. And this time I will press and hold it. Oh yes, so now you can see a nice ring. Let me press and hold this. Now you can see a nice ring, and that is giving a very good UI for us. So yeah, I press and hold, and yes, so I get that. and let me play with it a little bit. Let me just make it 10 dp, run it and see what happens. And let's see, something interesting should happen. Yeah. So the ring is now larger, and if we keep increasing it 50 dp, it just keeps getting larger. Yeah, oh, now it's almost covering everything. So our original 4 dp was looking good, and this is a very nice. So you learned you learned two things very quickly here. First, that you learned the state list, and then you have learned the layer list drawable. So with state list and layer list, everything looks good. Our app is now looking very good actually. So this sort of completes the discussion on the XML drawables. You may want to do more UI using other things, but XML drawable is also an interesting thing to learn. And with this, we conclude this lecture.